Hi there, and welcome to episode 180 of the ADHD Adults podcast, the second episode in what's probably series 3. Yes, well done, Sam. She knows dots, but we're not sure. I am James Brown, the man who thought working 7 days a week for 6 months was a really clever idea. And as usual, I'm joined by Dr. Alex Connor, who is so invigorated for season 3. He tried to get it tattooed on his balls, but only got as far as the letters SEA. And we welcome back Mrs AuDHD, who frankly is fucked. Alex, hi.
Guess who's back? Back again. She's back seamlessly. And I may have had SEA on my balls, James, but I put one on each ball, so it's fine.
That's very good. And Sam, hi.
Hi.
Good. Usually there's more than that, but we'll carry on. Anyway, usually at this point, I'll ask you both how you are, and Alex will be annoyingly chipper, and Sam will monologue about how, the things that she's probably meant to be saying in part 2 or something. I know I don't listen. But for this special, not so special, because we'll probably do 3, aka lazy episode, towards the start of series 2, we have a special guest, and it's me.
I mean, you could have asked us how we are. It wouldn't have taken long, except for Sam.
Well, we're going to find out.
No
We're going to find
point.
out. We'll find out in the next 2 episodes. That's if this is any good at all, or if we just bin it. Yeah. So someone needs to take over and ask some questions. So Al.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Haven't you said this? My hair of a podcast or whatever it is you say. I barely.
No, I've done none of that. That's not happening. Largely because I couldn't be fucking asked to write anything.
It's laziness. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
And we're doing 3 of these, so we don't have to write anything.
Yes.
That is just to
Pretty
be clear. That's
much.
the idea.
Yeah, this is the oeuvre for season 3, is as little writing as possible and as much just making shit up as we go along.
I like it very much.
Are you going to ask a
a
question? Oh,
I will
sorry.
ask a question, Sam. Thanks. And but what that was back and forth, which is a almost intangible quality, but probably the most crucial element to creating a relationship with literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who will listen. So yes, do feel free. So James, our listeners know you for, I mean, positivity. That's probably the number one word they would say. So so last year, I mean, what happened?
Well, let's start off with, if anyone's watching this on YouTube, you'll see that Sam's really struggling because she's turned her lights on too bright, or they're too close to the green screen.
It's a lot of light for me.
As Alex was asking that question, you could see her first of all look confused and then try and deal with the issue, but the lights are getting brighter. So why don't you try turning them off or something, Sam, while we do this part? And
am I allowed to?
Turn your lights off. You can do what you want, mate. It's your room. It's your office. Anyway, how was last year? We'll split this into the 3 parts. And the first part, obviously, is going to be what was shit about last year. And I suppose the answer is a lot.
People are here for.
It is the reason that collectively, I think we thought this might be a good idea ages ago when we were meant to do it, was because a lot of people we know have been struggling in the community. It was a difficult year for a lot of people. So we thought it'd be useful to just talk about us for an episode or 3 and off the back of other people struggling. So yeah, I hit burnout for probably the first actual proper time. In the past I've said, I'm burned out and I feel like I'm in burnout. But my God, when it actually hit, which was in December, I couldn't physically move. I was lay on the landing upstairs with my arms in a really weird position, just saying, "Come on, move your arms, move your legs," and couldn't kind of summon the energy to even move. And at that point, Sam, as we'll find out, did kick me in the back, which is obviously a weak spot for me. She was already off, and we'll learn about that in whichever episode we talk about her. My God, that's going to be a long one. Editing, that's going to be a fucking nightmare, isn't it?
No, because I don't have any energy at the minute, so I won't be talking as much, and my brain doesn't work as well.
That sounds amazing.
Sam was already off, and I had all this panic that, I'd actually said about a week before in a coaching session to a client, if I go down, we're fucked.
Yeah, because you're looking after your mum as well as me.
Yeah, because mum, something happened. What is it that happened with Mum?
Broke a knee.
Yeah, Mum broke her knee. Yeah, and
I'm still struggling with about 4 sentences ago that you used the correct past tense of lied. You didn't say lied, you said lay. And it's been bugging me ever since
did I?
that it was
I
right.
got grammar right. That's amazing.
Why would he say
You shouldn't-
lied on the floor?
People, yeah, it's a really common malapropism.
Yeah, and I don't do grammar very well. Anyway,
know, it's
back to
annoyed
me,
me.
if that's okay, because this
Sorry,
is I'm the
sorry.
special.
It's all right.
I'm the special
Cut
guest
that
in
in,
this
cut that.
episode.
Put that in post.
Yes, I'm editing my own episode. Editing my own episode. I'm just going to cut you two out, and it's just all going to be me.
I would.
Anyway, the intro bit about thinking working 7 days a week for 6 months was a good idea is kind of true, and I think that there's obviously ADHD reasons behind this. You know how we're all entrepreneurs, high energy entrepreneurs running our own businesses.
Yeah, I am.
I know I am.
Yeah. One of the downsides being, a high energy entrepreneur running your own business with ADHD is you don't get sick pay. And that means that you kind of have to work to bring money in to pay the bills. And that meant that in that
shelter and food.
The necessity, obviously all the stuff that we don't need, which we buy as well. But I felt that I just had to keep on working, keep on bringing in income. At the same time, all the shit that's going on, the mental health issues, the physical health issues mean that I'm cancelling clients on a regular basis, and it's getting worse each month with stacked up sessions. So I'm having to do the stuff that's not kind of coaching or talks at the weekend. And it just all hit me. And
Question.
Yes.
I know. So that's build up, right? But was there a trigger? Does it need a match to light it? Was there something that happened?
No. When I noticed was when I didn't take my meds one morning, and I had noticed that the window of energy and motivation was getting shorter and shorter. And before my meds kicked in, I couldn't really do much, like move even. But then my meds would kick in, and I'd manage kind of 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours of work, and that was getting shorter and shorter. And then the one morning, I don't know why I didn't take my meds, and I just couldn't move. And we've talked about this in the past about how the stimulants kind of mask exhaustion, tiredness, burnout, and they absolutely were in me.
When you texted me that, it occurred to me that we almost feel, because the meds are rare and there's a campaign against us existing, and the medicating is bad, that when we talk about bad things about the medications, we're almost being disloyal to ourselves, to our community. And that's so unfair, because if you're using them as a stimulant, there are consequences, right? That
but and a lot of this would be fixed if there was actually some research into medication holidays. And we talked about this, about how the medication crisis was the perfect fucking opportunity to do some research on this, because loads of people were enforced to take a medication holiday. Anyway, I had to do some self-coaching, Al, and obviously chatted to you and Sam, and kind of worked out that I've got a couple of choices. One is to carry on because we need the money, but that could mean things get a lot worse. Yeah, exactly.
What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. Well, you'd need a new podcast host probably. And then I decided I had to take some time off, and I make decisions really quickly. We talked about it in the processing speed episode. I go through all kind of pros and cons in like minutes, and I just turned around to Sam and said, after we'd had a chat about whether this should happen or would happen, it's got to happen. Got to cancel all my clients in December and take time off. And obviously that's financially kind of fucked us. So we're recording this at the start of February, and I hit my overdraft limit. I think it was the 3rd of February, paid on the 26th of January, which is not a great.
God for your trust fund.
I know exactly. Thank God for the
dad's trust fund.
Thank God for the £149 I had in savings, which I managed to move over to my current account to give me a little bit of
you kept that quiet.
Yeah.
Well,
it wasn't savings, was it? It was a pig in his room, pennies in.
So, and that to me was like the culmination of what was a really difficult year. Last year was a really difficult year. My physical health obviously was fucked, but things started to get better. So I finally got the Botox injections for my migraine, and that improved migraines. I had some injection for the pain in my back, and that improved my back pain. And obviously, I thought,
to be honest, you also only look about 212.
Yeah, no,
but you should see the back of his neck where he's had the Botox. It looks like a child.
It's amazing. I thought, right, this is it. This is going to fix everything. And I'd lost weight using the weight loss injections. And I thought, right, my physical health has improved. This is amazing. Everything's going to get better. And of course, it didn't. It didn't get better. I know.
You're saying
I
mental
know.
health is more complicated than that.
Mental health and neurodivergent aren't as simple as lose some weight and have a bit less pain.
Then how come all rich and famous people are compassionate, kind, and mentally healthy individuals?
I don't know. I think that's probably an issue related to how they're portrayed, and
it is a lie. You're right.
How you're lying. Yeah, and so it was really difficult in terms of making that decision, letting people down, ending the year with Sam in a difficult position, which we'll hear about in one of the next 2 episodes, possibly if this actually goes out. We're not sure, and that kind of it culminated again Christmas Day. We've talked about this before when I got diagnosed. Christmas Day of sitting on my own because I forgot to take my meds in the morning, so couldn't get out of bed, couldn't move, and Sam waited till about 10:30. And the plan was we'd go and see my mum in the morning, we'd go and see Sam's family, and by the time Sam thought, come on, get up, and I said, I won't take the meds, and she realized, well, we weren't going to see my mum, and I tried to get up and just said I couldn't, and she went to see her family, and I was sat on my own again on Christmas Day, just thinking, here we are again.
Yeah.
Back at, all the passive ideation thoughts becoming active ideation and thinking about, not being here. And I just thought, it's not getting fucking better, is it? It feels like it's getting worse, which is, my negative lens, I guess. And just to finish off, because I don't want this to all be moany. Yes, the finish off that's a good thing. That is, Alex and I recorded the audiobook for ADHD Unpacked out March 13th, 2025. Last weekend, didn't we? What?
I have no idea. What are you talking about?
Yes, this
orange
thing. This thing, which I've got the script, which I printed out, even though I knew it'd be on a fucking. Yeah, that's again. If you're not watching on YouTube, Alex has just pulled up a 1970s German porno, which he definitely didn't just find, which he's owned since the 1970s. Anyway, in the months leading up to recording this, because I've been smoking a lot over the last year, my voice has been fucked. I thought, right, okay, this is an opportunity to stop smoking, sort your voice out, because my sinuses and my nasal cavities apparently have been completely ruined by 30 years of using cocaine. I don't know how or why. So I thought, right, I'm going to stop
correlation
smoking.
And causation, James.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
That could be a coincidence.
And I think it is. And we'll talk about my aims for next year, part 3.
Sam, these are lies for comedic purposes. I just needed to
I got that. That's why I laughed.
Nice.
Good. So there's lots of kind of human behavior happening in this episode.
I need to ask you a question, and it's provocative.
Oh.
Yes.
I believe you that this is burnout. However, half of me, and I want to know how it feels to hear this, half of me thinks it was so extreme that could it have bbeen viral? Because it feels like it wasn't more than. And I'm just interested in your perspective on it. And obviously, it is what you say it is. But...
Yeah. No, because of Sam's situation, which we're not fully sure, and we'll explore in a future episode. Yeah, it is possible because we did get COVID in whenever it was, September or August or something. I think for me, the way in which I've kind of partially recovered and the way in which it manifested itself in a different way to Sam's current struggles. And because I think I knew it was coming. I mean, you can't work for 7 days a week for 6 months, or 6.5 days some weeks if you're fucking lucky for 6 months, without eventually it having an effect, and not just that physical effect, that mental overwhelm and eventual kind of shutdown, central fatigue type thing. But yeah, it could possibly be, and this is part of the issue when it comes to burnout in neurodivergent people, because ironically, I was doing a burnout workshop in December that had to be cancelled, and had to do as much research as I can. There's just so little out there because it's not. It is, isn't it? It really is. But for once, it kind of, I think people could maybe understand me cancelling a session because I just fucking couldn't.
Although I got absolutely beasted on a talk on RSD in front of everyone by someone who didn't like it.
Oh God!
I know.
It was horrible.
He messaged
Really,
me.
horrible.
He messaged me afterwards, and honestly, I was
I'll save it for
masturbating
your
for hours
podcast.
after he said that.
It was funny. And our ADHD community are fucking beasts, though. Oh my word, the support I've had at the yeah.
Oh, I love
Lovely. Anyway, I've been trying
Yeah.
to tell this little story now for probably
Sorry.
10 minutes.
Oh.
I thought just to bookend this part, I thought because we're doing the audiobook for ADHD Unpacked coming out March 13th, 2025. Last weekend, I thought I've got like 4 weeks to sort my voice out, to stop smoking, to like use nasal sprays and that to try and get rid of some of that shit that's going on up there. I was smoking the morning of the audiobook. I took some tablets called mucolytics to try and break up the mucus, and immediately had sinus pain. I bought this. You saw it, Al, didn't you? The nebulizer.
Yeah.
To be used 3 times a day for a month. Used it 4 times in the month. Didn't do any of the things that I wanted to prepare for the audiobook. And then on the day was just constantly going up. And apologies for this in advance. So sorry. And every time you fucking do that, they stop the recording and go back, and you feel like a complete.
And they say, really chip away, no problem,
Yeah.
and going again from the. And you think you don't mean it, but they do mean it, but you don't
And
think
did
they
that,
do.
because that's one of my tics. Did that turn into a tic for you?
So when Sam stressed, she clears her throat. So when I was doing it, and it happened, it was about 2 weeks before that I first really started doing it, and Sam noticed it, and a bit like a tick in Sam, I just started doing it more and couldn't stop this clearing my throat. And I do have something called post-nasal drip. Some mucus kind of slides down the back of my throat and collects there. So
Trigger warning.
Yeah,
exactly. Also, ding.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We're all too tired to get the dings right. Anyway, yes.
That every time Lisa clears her throat, my wife, I say yes, as if she's about to give a speech at a wedding.
I love that.
And I never don't do it, and it's never not funny for me. Oh yeah. It must be interminable for her.
Every time James eats, I go, "Is that nice?"
Yeah.
Because of the noises. You're enjoying that, yeah? Is that nice? And he hates it.
Sounds like you are.
Yeah, honestly, and it takes me a little while to get it.
My sister-in-law really likes reading, but she has a busy life, kids, and everyone bothers her all the time. So every time she gets a book, I ask her what it's about, and she wearily tells me because she's a people pleaser type. But obviously I don't care. I'm just trying to disrupt. We're horrible, horrible people. So
we are.
You are.
Anyway, just to finish off this first part, because it is an ADHD podcast, not just an us podcast. It's really important that burnout has been at the center of this. Really, and I think that the lack of research into ADHD burnout and the bullshit you see online. Oh, there are 5 stages to burnout. There are 12 stages to burnout. No, there are as many stages as you go through. And this idea that it starts with us being really excited about a project and throwing ourselves into it, and then, because of executive function, it becomes challenging. No, sometimes it's just because you've got a job with shit employers and you're having to work harder to do it, etc.
And it's not linear. You jump in. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. That was I did it. I jumped in.
We have a delay in Alex's brain.
And I'm supposed to put my hand up when I do meet stupid interruptions. James, is it real like anxiety is real, or is it we think it's real like RSD is real, but you don't find it in the DSM?
It's we think it's real, so you don't even find it in the WHO. So burnout is a purely occupational situation, and most people that go to a GP in the UK with burnout will be told they're depressed because the symptoms can be similar to depression. And yet there's evidence, particularly there's a lovely analysis of it which looked at the different parts of burnout and the different parts of ADHD, and the executive dysfunction was linked to I can't remember if it was the cognitive issues and the impulsivity and inability to engage in restful activities was linked to some of the physical symptoms. So we know it's fucking real, but it's just not really considered real by most people in any element of the healthcare setting.
Yeah, medically you can't get diagnosed with burnout. It's only an occupational thing.
Yeah.
Right, helpful.
Anyway, on that note, we'll take a break and we'll come back in the second part to talk about me more. Brilliant. See you in a bit.
Bye.
No.
Alex, hi.
What's up? Hello, Governor.
Welcome back to part 2 of episode 180. How are you, really, James? Next up, because this will be the shortest section, what went well last year? Why are you both laughing?
How are you really, James? A question or the title? That was incredible.
Both.
Boke.
How are you?
Yeah.
Really?
James. Yeah.
Wow.
The good thing is,
are you really,
good thing is, we've managed to do most of this episode in the first part because obviously not fucking much went well last year, and the third part, which is going to be like this coming year, if I'm still here, I'll be surprised. Listen, I have to objectively look at the positives. Getting a book written and to the point where this year it will be published was ridiculous.
What's
but if you look at, it's called ADHD Unpacked. It's available through Bloomsbury PLC at all good and probably bad book retailers out March the 13th, 2025. And we're doing a launch on the 11th at Juju's in London with Seed Talks, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, that's true. So you did like do an normal Seed Talk, and I read that you can get a book on the ticket, but I don't know how or whether that's true or whether that works.
Yes. Yeah, they're having some there which are pre-sales, which
could
will be there.
Wait till the 14th of March and just get it in Poundland?
Well, this is, we chatted, didn't we? We chatted at one of the meetings about what we would consider success, and I said the amount of time it takes for us to get into the pound shop is our metric, really, of whether this book's successful. And I think obviously we lean into this, and I think we'll probably have a competition for the first person to take a picture of it when it is in the pound shop.
Oh,
and
yeah,
win
that's amazing.
Something, because that'd be good. So that was a positive, but you could tell actually as we went through that process earlier on in the year when I was kind of healthier and not struggling, and I was very engaged in the process of writing the book. And I think Alex maybe wasn't in as such a good place, and then we kind of swapped a little bit, and Alex was in a better place and I was fucked, and I wasn't really involved in the last probably 2 months of the book having any activity, and I was just saying to her, no, you'll have to do that, can you do that? I can't do this. And including missing meetings, etc. Anyway, it's a positive getting that.
We're concentrating on the positive now.
When we're talking, when you're doing your relationship workshops, it's not about everybody with ADHD has to do half of the work of the house, is it? If you're not good at doing the washing, then you can respectfully do something else. And you nailed it for the first half, and then you had to step back, and that's equity instead of equality. And I think that's fine. I mean, what you did was shit. But at least it was something.
Yeah. It's funny when we recorded the audiobook, and I couldn't remember, and I said this to you before, a single word that was in there have I written any of this? I mean, nothing in there seemed to, even though I can remember the chapters which I was, at the start, but I can't remember writing any of it. But anyway, getting a book out there's lovely.
Yeah.
I think reframing a negative into a positive, guys. The situation Sam and I have been in, I think, has brought us closer.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think we have, particularly over kind of December, just spent a lot of time, because you had to engage in rest and restful activities. You literally had to. We spent a kind of more time actually, having fun on the sofa, and and just spending time together, because we couldn't fucking do anything. Whereas normally during the working day, Sam's in her office, I'm in here, and I can hear her doing that stressed and the fucking tapping the keys, like an elephant trampling on wrapping paper or
a keyboard.
Walking.
Yes, or a keyboard, yes, or walking on a keyboard. So during the day we wouldn't see each other, and in the evening, we wouldn't really talk that much, and it has brought us closer. It's nice that Sam doesn't recognize any of this as an outcome of the last year.
It was a joke from Sam.
It was a joke.
Amazing. She's got 2 jokes.
I was very
2
pleased
jokes
with it.
in a day.
Unbelievable.
She's getting better at this. She is. So that was positive.
I genuinely don't know if that was a joke.
I chuckled at you at the end because I could see that you were laughing.
Yeah.
She did. You did this last night, didn't you? Made a joke. Now, when Sam makes a joke,
I said, he was talking and I went, all right, there's no need to shout at me. There's no need to keep screaming at me. And he went, Sam, do you know how hurtful it is when you say that? I'm not shouting. And I went, I was very clearly joking. He said, but you didn't change your tone of voice. I said, yeah,
or
but
anything.
it was ridiculous. Of course you weren't screaming at me. He said, but you say that all the time and you're serious. I went, yes, I can see how you would get confused, but that was a very funny joke.
It's inconsistent. At best.
Exactly. Pardon me, burps. Yeah, so Sam me being closer apparently is a positive. But another positive actually is, physically, not emotionally, obviously. Or physically, just geographically closer. Geographically close.
We sit next to each other more.
Yeah, exactly. Which is as close as I like to get. And
relationship goals
is enough for me. The third good thing I think was the kind of love and support I had from our community. Was, when I would put a post up saying I'm not in a good place and I'm not going to be on social media, just getting lots of people saying that that's a good example of kind of owning your struggles and showing people that you can be vulnerable. And then lots of people from our community who are kind of local enough, some pop around to see me and lots offering to help out. And that was really lovely, because we don't often kind of stop and appreciate our little community enough, I think.
Massive privilege. Massive privilege.
It is. And having lost kind of most of my old friends in rabbit ears and realizing that you're impossible to fucking lose. You are. I tried my hardest.
Chewing on your shoe.
Yes. But so that's been really lovely. And the last couple
actually, to your credit though, it's a good example of what we should do when we're feeling burnt out. We shouldn't push on through like I kept doing. We shouldn't do that. You should take a break.
Well,
so
he did it for like 6 months.
Yeah. But he got there eventually.
Yeah. And but this is, I think this is an important point. Again, it comes back to that where either we're entrepreneurs or whatever. We're not all entrepreneurs, and many of us work in on 0 hours contracts or work in a situation where you don't get paid leave and you don't have a choice. The choice is take time off and I'm going to lose my house.
Don't feed your family.
Exactly. And and we know people
still made that difficult choice though, because you don't get paid and we are struggling and we will have to sell our house, you did make you've got to put yourself first.
Finally though, what I'm saying is that I've been trying to teach you about boundaries for years, and
I will come to that in my episode actually. Because and I am going to compliment you on that and apologize to you.
Really?
I'm
not coming.
Alex, honestly, the apology. Just make sure you've got something to explain and make visible your glib and smugness when she actually apologizes to you.
I am
for whatever it is she's going to apologize.
I'm smug enough without it.
Anyway, obviously, you two aren't going to let me finish the positive part of this.
Sorry.
No, we are. What else?
It's okay. So, fuck it. I took a massive dose of mushrooms towards the end of the year and went on a self-guided kind of internalized exploration of who I was. And because of that, no, exactly. I'm not recommending that you do this at all. But it did really help me. And Alex got not only some text messages during this, but made the funniest joke he's ever done. Which was, I texted him in this state and said, it's really important that I tell you that you are important, not just as a person, but as a thing. And then followed it up with, side note, what's a normal amount of urine? And about an hour later, just got a reply from Alex saying, so this is drugs, is it? Which was absolutely fucking brilliant and blew me away. But I managed to really work out some stuff about myself, including just how bad my body dysmorphia is, and realizing that while I was on. Well, look at it, mate. I've done nothing with that this morning, and it's fucking amazing.
No.
That is.
You're joking.
Do you mean no? Get lost, Sam. I realized how bad my body dysmorphia was and how I have thoughts most days of I never want to eat again. I can never be thin enough. I can literally never be thin enough. Even losing 4.5 stone, I just look in the mirror and see fat everywhere because there is still fat there. And,
But I mean, you die without subcutaneous fat. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, no, I know, absolutely, yeah.
So it needs to be dysmorphia.
Exactly, but it's that realizing that it's a bigger problem than it was. Realizing, and this is something I don't have shame about, and I've chatted to Alex about this and Sam. Realizing that there's a part of me, it's definitely subconscious, that is fame hungry, and is actually outraged that I'm not already famous. And makes this, well, it's like you say, big niche, double, triple niche. Z list celebrity famous. Nobody really knows who we are unless they've got ADHD, and then they hate us. And realizing actually that this part of me this part of me makes decisions, and realizing that some of the decisions I've made, in the last, really since I started doing like the TV work in 2013 is it going to make me more famous? Yes, I'll do it. Is it not? I'll have to think about it. And admitting that to yourself, and this is the power of psychedelic assisted therapy away from your ego, was really powerful to realize that there's a part of me that, for whatever reason, really, really desperately and drives my behavior towards anything that might make me more known.
And when we talked about James, what was my psychoeducation view on that? Can you remember?
Oh, I can't. Was it about validation, external validation?
Yeah,
was it?
You're super harsh with yourself. What you describe as fame hungry, and I think it's really brave to say that because people don't admit these things. No, I don't even care about that. Of course you fucking do.
Yeah.
But people with ADHD in general are motivated by external validation because we're not fucking cats. Right? And that's a big part of what you are, even if we don't want to be, even if we're introverted, we are. We're not. Present company.
There wasn't a ding. That I was just trying to work out how loud to do the ding that follows that. We're not fucking
That's
cats.
A ding in itself.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm not invalidating what you're saying. I'm not, because it's true.
Yeah. But it goes back to, I can remember being 15, 16 years old. We're going to do an episode after we've kind of wanked through these 3 episodes about how we are on ADHD and music, because there's a really interesting paper that's come out. And at that age, knowing that I could sing a little bit and that I could play the guitar a little bit, I desperately wanted to be a musician in a band, desperately wanted it. But a lot of that was because I wanted to be up on a stage. Now I can do the talks. That is this little bit of fame for me. That's my kind of happy place. And therefore that helps with things. You're right there, Sam.
Yeah, I'm just tired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Apologies going on then. So that links beautifully to the last positive, and I've got. I think I've got to give you credit for this, Alex. I don't know if this was you. It might be Pat Sessions, DJ Derek Bowie, that gave me this idea of playing the guitar first thing in the morning. And it's been a massive positive for me. And if I now don't get up early, get my guitars into my office, plug them into the Mac and kind of write and record some stuff, I am dysregulated for the rest of the day. If something like I've got to go over to mum's, or I get up and just kind of forget and immediately start doing work.
Or you record a podcast.
Yeah, I'll record a podcast. No, I'm playing the guitar after this bitch. Then
felt like a tentative bitch, like that. I'm not sure I should.
I really liked that.
Yeah, it was good. James,
you'll
because
get
Pat hasn't got right of reply or a voice on this, I'm just saying it was 100% me. It wasn't. It was definitely not me.
It must have been Pat then, because
I think it was me.
It might have been you, yeah. It could, let's face it, it could be anybody but Alex at this point in time. But whoever it was that suggested, well, why don't you do it first thing in the morning? That's when you're most able. Massive impact on kind of my mental health, my regulation for that day. And it's now something that's almost semi-established as a routine. And I think that's a real positive, because having 5 guitars and a bass and not playing them, particularly when you need money and you're thinking, should I sell that guitar because I'll get 400 quid for it, isn't really justifiable. But it's something like, you know what, I'm kind of as happy as I get when I'm playing the guitar, if that makes sense. It's not happiness, but it's whatever happy is.
It's your happiness.
Yeah.
Can I have it for free?
No, you fucking can't. You've already had the best fucking projector that I've ever owned. I was
Don't
explaining
stop.
to someone, and I was explaining to someone how I had 2 projectors and just gave him one, not realizing it was the fucking brilliant one. Anyway, I'm going to close
You
off
give
this
it back
second
if you
part.
fly over and get it, you twat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll take another break and we'll be back for part 3.
We haven't got time
which
for the
is-
game.
Oh God, yeah. No, we haven't. Or I didn't have time to write it, and I can't remember
Finally.
anything that's happened in the last kind of few weeks.
Get
Look at the
it.
glee on his face. I think at this point in time we've done one game.
Yeah,
in the
and I won
episode
it.
that came out last week. Did you win?
Literally no idea.
No, nor me. I thought you lost, but I haven't obviously listened to it since I edited it. Anyway, we're going to take a break and back in a few seconds for part 3. Bye.
Bye.
No.
Yes.
Why I gotta.
Trumpet. Oh God.
Welcome back to episode 180 of the ADHD Adults podcast. This is part 3 of our special 1 of 3, where we're reintroducing ourselves because something book, something massive break. Sam and James wussing out of life for a bit because of health related reasons. This is called How Are You Really James? Alex, to bring us back in. Facts, go. I'm just reading out the script like Sam does. That's
You
the
weren't,
joke
though.
there. You knew. Right then, we've done what's bad, everything. What's good, Alex. In part 3, we're asking James, what do you hope will be different for this year? What are your hopes and expectations of the year, both for ADHD in general in the community, but mainly for you as a little Dracula?
Well, we'll start off with the ADHD community. I genuinely hope that my suspicion that things are going to get worse before they get better isn't right. I don't have full confidence in that because, you know, you can see the recent guidance that's been given to GPs on not signing shared care agreements. You've got whilst the ADHD task force is up and running and doing its work, we've got, you know, so much that is troubling in terms of waiting times, access to assessments, access to diagnosis, and nothing else out there that I genuinely hope that I'm wrong, that it gets worse, and I hope it gets better. I think that in terms of me, I've never really been one for January for New Year's resolutions, but I did write down my goals for 2025. Now, I am obviously punishingly honest and open about myself.
Yeah.
And the first goal I wrote down was more cocaine. Now, that is not a healthy goal to have. Yeah, that's a goal I wrote down. And I may have wrote this goal down at a point where I really wanted cocaine. And I have reflected on this since. Yeah, it's possible. And I've reflected on this since. And it's not a healthy goal.
No.
And with our financial situation, it's not even an attainable goal. No. So I think I can now cross that one out as being
more of a value than a goal.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a cool. Yeah, but there's none of these online tests of your values that lists doing more cocaine compared to, you know, honesty or integrity as a potential, because that would have been my top
value. You really need smart goals, so I need to know.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, Alex, next to it says once a month, so you've got the measurable bit there straight away.
What the fuck? What were you thinking?
Yeah. That I wanted to do more cocaine, obviously, which is a stupid thought. And actually, I'm 50 this year. It's a stupid thing. It's a stupid thing to put down as a goal for the year. But when I wrote it, and, you know, again, this is me being completely honest and authentic, it was the top thing I wanted to achieve this year, to do more cocaine. Which is ridiculous. Yeah. And particularly then discovering before the audiobook that I have destroyed the mucous membranes in my nasal cavity. My sinuses are now just one big sinus, I think, at the left-hand side of my face. And it's not going to happen for multiple reasons. But yeah, that was my top goal. Now, when I take that off now, which I have,
it does say something about self-medication and how horrible ADHD is to live with. that would be a realistic thought that we would have, and I get it. Obviously, I
It's-
do. I'm an addict, but it's so
It-
indicative.
Yeah, but it's also linked. What I didn't go into in as much detail because we've talked about it a lot is how impactful my anhedonia was last year, and really realizing, oh my God, that I don't have stuff that gives me joy, but then realizing a bit more that there are two things that give me joy: cocaine and doing the talks, really. And exactly,
Sam
the
thought you were going to say
little talks.
Yeah,
listen, Sam is my joy and happiness. I am joyful vicariously through her when she sees a bee and go, oh my God, James, I saw a bee, and she carries a little fucking container of sugar water in case bees need rescuing. And when I see Sam being just so joyful, that's kind of joy for me, seeing that and being near that. But in terms of me having that emotion, I don't get it very often. But one of the times in the past has been when I'm on cocaine, and when you've only got that and a couple of other things that make you feel good, you can understand why you want to do it more, because that's the time when I like myself. The second thing was to see people more, because I have become hermetic in terms of my lifestyle, and leaving the house is difficult. And we've actually seen a couple of old friends towards the start of this year or the end of last year, I can't remember, and that was genuinely lovely, being able to see Skeletor and Angry Paul and Neil and Holly, our friends. It was lovely to be able to reconnect with them.
Yeah,
I want Sam and I to have more weekends away. We tend to go away when I'm doing the talks, but it'd be nice for us to have, we can't afford holidays, we're fucked financially, but the odd mini weekend away would be lovely. The next two things would that genuinely down as goals. Now they're necessities. Let's chuck away a lot of stuff and paint and fix the house, because we're going to have to fucking sell it basically when it comes to July and remortgaging. June, amazing, even closer. We're not going to do well in that financial assessment. So that those, to try and have a nicer house at the time to live in it, but now to sell it. 6 was to maintain my weight below what I've put as red line. So I've managed to lose enough weight, but I know I will regain some. It always happens. But to have a red line, if I can keep my weight below 90 kilos, it was 107 at the start of losing weight, then that's an aim. Wow. The 7th one, and again,
you're freakishly tall though, remember, people.
But my body fat percentage was 25 and I managed to get it down to 16, which is from over fat to healthy. The 7th thing was to find my libido. And again, most men won't talk about this, and it's one of the things you've got it, have you? Yeah. Your wife's got it. Ding, I don't know.
None of this makes sense. It's not a thing.
One of the health issues I've had in the last year was 13 months ago. I found that my testosterone was too high. Alex, I'm too manly. Yeah. But equally, my sex hormone binding globulin, which is a protein that binds your testosterone so it can't always be active, was too high, which meant effectively I had too little testosterone. So it took me a year.
It's like
to finally
ADHD, where you've got loads of dopamine, but you just can't absorb it. Is it like that?
It's like a bell-shaped curve of action, isn't it?
Yeah. So I took me a year to see an endocrinologist, and they then said you've got to do some blood tests, and I obviously didn't. And after 3 weeks, got a letter saying if you don't do these blood tests, we'll just discharge you back to the GP. So I thought, okay, go in 2 mornings, blood tests. And annoyingly, my testosterone was normal in those blood tests. So when I started this process, with a possible explanation for having my libido kind of disappear, now we don't know. And I'd like to re-establish that libido. And I think for any people, whether it's of any gender or sexuality, who feel shame at not feeling sexual, and when we did a recent Seed Talk summit, and I did a relationships talk and talked about the lability of our libido, that we can go from being hypersexual for a while to being just having no libido, and that for your partner is really challenging, because you think, well, hang on, do you not find me attractive? Yeah, I do. I just don't ever have that drive at the minute to engage in.
And we are very all or nothing. It's either like all the time or never. nothing
Yeah.
kind of in between.
And this is the stuff that doesn't get talked about a lot, because obviously for a couple where you're not having a lot of sex, if it's one partner or both partners, for whatever reason they're influencing that, there's shame and guilt about this, because you should be having loads of sex. And particularly as a man, saying in front of other men, yeah, no, at the minute, for the last year, I would probably say I was asexual. That was...
It's a really
Go on.
difficult thing to say out loud, isn't it? That it's you know, it feels a strange thing to say, and I don't know why.
Is that because you're men, or
I think
we
it's
are...
hard for women to say that out loud as well.
oh, is it?
I think there are different pressures for the sexes. For men, we do live in this age of toxic masculinity where you're meant to, and you've got, you know, cunts like Andrew Tate out there and other people like that who are building the next generation of toxic masculinity, which is just going to cause problems for... Yes, other cunts are, many of them, you know, some of them in high positions of power.
I don't know.
Go on.
I don't know if it is as hard for women. Ding. I was just thinking about, sorry, my processing speed is so slow, so it took me a while to get to that. Yeah. But you hear lots of women that openly will say that they never want sex and their husband is always badgering them. And it's almost like the other way around, like it's a badge of honor to say, and there's actually something wrong with you if you want to have sex all the time as a woman. You're looked down
with a badger,
upon.
it is something wrong with you. I've misunderstood.
Badgering, Sam.
Oh,
remember Badgerton, the television program you invented? And she wouldn't watch Bridgerton, but she said she'd watch Badgerton if it was a program.
I would watch Badgerton.
Load of badgers having sex.
Oh yeah, but just with one human like Michael Caine in it, like Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, but I think it's the opposite way around. I think as a woman, generally, if you say that you want to have sex all the time, that's when you'd be looked down upon. Whereas if you say you never want sex, that's seen as normal.
Yeah. Women saying they like sex. What?
Yeah, what is wrong with you? Oh, she's horrible. What a horrible.
For those of us old enough, for those of us old enough to remember Madonna bringing out her book in the 90s and kind of owning her sex, just got fucking pelters from all corners. How dare a woman have sexuality and want to express that sexuality? But for many, it's very much you're meant to be a man, you're meant to be masculine, you're meant to want sex all the time and to always be ogling women. I've never been like that.
I want to come back to my thing, but you said ogling, and now I need to deal with that.
Ogling?
Ogling. I just love it.
Ogling, is it? Yes. Yeah,
one of my favorite things in the world is the sort of right-wing Andrew Tate, Trumpy type people saying women don't enjoy sex. No woman I've ever been with has enjoyed sex. It's one of my favorite things to read. It's genuinely hilarious. Cell phone. Wow. They don't realize what they're owning up to, like at all.
Yeah.
It's not natural. Yeah. I've never met a woman who, of course you haven't. It's so good.
Wow.
Ogling.
Amazing. Ogling, yeah. There are some words, but to be fair, I could just say segue to you, Alex, because you didn't know that was pronounced that way, did you?
I didn't know. I thought it was sieg.
No.
And I felt quite misled when I realised.
Oh, God. Misled.
Good,
and the last thing that was written on my goal for 2025, I added after January, and it was to a chat with Sam, and that's I want to do just one thing that's outside my comfort zone, genuinely outside my comfort zone, because all the stuff that I do might be outside other people's comfort zones. You know, public speaking, some people would be terrified of, and, you know, podcasting, writing a book, all that stuff. But it's all just tosh to me. It's just stuff that I do. It's not pushing myself anywhere, but I thought it'd be nice to do just one thing where I'm a little bit scared of it, if that makes sense. And I haven't worked out what it is yet. You've seen me smile. We tried to do, I say we, Sam tried to take some press photos because we've been asked by Seed Talks to take some press photos for the book
I got one good one.
You got one lovely one of us sitting on the sofa, and everyone said how much they love that picture. Yeah, and it does show that Alex and I love each other.
Paint it.
Didn't want to what?
Was in it. They said they wanted to paint it, but my crotch was in it, and they couldn't paint my crotch.
Yeah, there was a lot of
paint above your crotch.
Yeah, it's weird. Or just don't worry about a little thing like that.
There's a good one. What was the point? Photos, face. Oh, smiling. Yeah. Oh, I
Oh
couldn't.
yeah.
I couldn't. We've been asked, obviously, I have to do bios for talks that I'm doing and training, and the photos I've got are ridiculous because my hair's either like 3 feet tall, and I'm not smiling. I'm going. You can't
Do you
see
not
this on
like
audio
your
podcast.
smile? Is that what it is? You find it?
I don't like my face, Alex,
Yeah.
and smiling is part of that face, and my kind of resting face, it isn't terrible, but when I try and smile, it all goes wrong. Everything just goes wrong, and it's awful, and I hate
A
it.
lot of
So
people
taking
think that.
pictures like that is an issue. But I want to do one thing outside my comfort zone. I thought whether it's stand up or whether it's even singing in public, because I love singing, but doing that in public is genuinely scary.
I want to see it.
So I had that for me, especially the more cocaine once a month smart goal. But for me, the reason I'm saying all this is that there were times last year where I thought I'm not going to be here next year, and that's fine. That this is my 50th, the end of my 50th year in April, and I thought for so long, actually, even said to you, when by the time the book is written, that's it, I can check out then, because that's kind of some kind of legacy, etc. But I'm actually planning for the year. I'm planning to be here, and that's a huge positive for me. To finish off by saying I actually plan to be here this year. I know it's going to be shit. I know it's going to be tough at times. I know there'll be times when my mental health will dip, when my physical health will cause problems. I know we're in a financial shit show, despite people, frequently saying to me that I'm making money off the back of people's misery. Yeah, but not as much money as I was making when I was an academic.
We're in the bucket of big nothing.
Yeah, exactly. All of that shit is going to happen, but I expect to be here for the rest of the year, and that for me is about as positive as I get.
Yeah,
It is incredibly positive. I want to know which of these comfort zone goals is like a real plan, so I can like keep an eye on it, because I love the idea.
I need to decide, and I'd love it if we all as a community agreed. Yeah, I'm going to try and do one thing outside my comfort zone this year.
I think you already do stand up. What you do is half stand up and half psychoeducation. I think that singing is the one.
Yeah, and if we could do that maybe at a karaoke bar or something. I remember going to one of the ADHD's females events the end of the year before last, which had karaoke in it, and the fucking panic because I didn't know the songs. So I did the Sunday church thing of just moving my mouth roughly in time with the songs while I sat down, because lots of people were up and dancing, which is another thing I do not do. So that could be the comfort zone, learning how to dance, for example.
So I've got a dance competition next week.
Oh, yeah.
You can come and do you want me to send you a film of it?
Oh, I'd love that. I love watching dancing. We're really into watching break dancing at the minute, and crumping. I fucking love crumping.
Yeah,
so we like watching dance-offs.
I have to do a leap into a wave, the caterpillar, backwards caterpillar during this dance, and I am old and it hurts.
Now the veil's slipped and people have seen that picture, which was clearly an endearing photograph or image of us showing that we do genuinely love each other. And this is banter, despite the listeners we've lost because they don't get that joke.
Yeah.
I've forgotten where this was going.
Singing and dancing.
Gone. Yeah, no, it's completely gone. I had a point and it's completely gone. On that note, anyway, thank you. If you've got this far, I reckon probably none of you have. So we could get saying anything at this point, like the thing Alex said before we started recording, which I can't repeat because it would get him cancelled.
Oh, please.
Anyway, no. Anyway, this was the very self-indulgent episode 180 of the ADHD Adults podcast, where I wallowed in my melancholia. Is that right, Al? But that's okay because no one's listening. If you are still listening, just to remind you, if you're not aware, that ADHD Unpacked comes out on March the 13th, 2025 on both physical book and audio book media.
I pre-ordered it.
And we're doing the 11th of March Seed Talk, aren't we? Have we? I know we said that.
Yeah, why fucking showing a piece of paper when I've got the actual book in front of me?
I know, I did think that.
Jesus Christ. And just, I did say this on social media. It took me about 4 months to work out that the ADHD scrumpled paper is the shape of a brain. I didn't realize that. Whenever I saw
I didn't know that.
Have you just got that?
Cerebellum.
Just got that? I know.
Yeah. I didn't know.
I didn't.
When I first saw the artwork, I thought yeah, I thought, yeah, it's all right. And then when I realized, when someone pointed out, they went, "Oh, that's brilliant. That's a brain." I was like, "Is it?"
That
That's
is
fucking
brilliant.
really good. Yeah, so that book's coming out. The book launches March the 11th at Juju's in London. Tickets available, and there's a live stream as well. If you're not comfortable being in a room with Alex, there is a live stream, which means you can watch it from the safety of your home.
And it's at
if you want to get in
night time, so
touch,
James can be there.
exactly. Yeah, if you want to get in touch, then you can send us in questions and suggest topics through the website www.theadhadults.uk, our lovely Patreon community where we do largely body doubling and AuDHD towers and Sam talking shit for ages, is available through the website as well. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye all. Trigger warning, klaxon. Klaxon, 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 big klaxon. No. Trigger warning, klaxon. Klaxon, klaxon.
Well, when I first started being poorly and we didn't know what was wrong and I hit the brick wall and all of that stuff, I had to keep going for blood tests. And this one morning, it was really, really icy. And I got in the car and the car was skidding all over the place, all over the ice. And I thought, oh, that's weird. Anyway, I carried on and I did think maybe I should turn back, but I was already late, obviously. So I carried on and then I got near to the hospital and it just got too much. There were cars either side and I was just sliding everywhere. So I thought, I'm going to have to abandon the car here. So I left the car on the side of the road and walked to the hospital to get my blood test. And it wasn't far, but I got there and I was too late and the systems were down, so I couldn't have my blood test. And then I came out and thought, oh, where did I leave the car? I have no idea. Now, luckily, and I didn't say this before because it works now, because I was really tired, I had to keep sitting down because I can't really do much at the minute at all. And even though it was a short walk, it was too long for me to walk. So I had to keep sitting down for a rest on the floor, in the snow, outside people's houses, in a housing estate, wearing a bright yellow jumper. But that really helped me to get back to the car because I could look ahead and see where there were little melted patches of ice and snow and then make my way back to the car like I was Hansel and Gretel. And I got back to the car and the reason my car was skidding everywhere was because my tyre was completely flat. So then I was trying to pump it up, but I spent so long trying to pump it up and it wouldn't pump up that then the battery went flat on my car as well. And then I was stuck there and I was very tired and forgot that Ubers existed. So I called my brother and waited until he got out the meeting and I booked it into a garage online, but got there early and then the forecourt was busy and I was saying, well, I'll just leave it here. And he said, you haven't booked it in. I know you've booked it in online, but we have to confirm it. You can't leave your car here. So instead of just leaving it on the street outside or something, I drove it all the way back on the rim and then I had to get it fixed on the drive, which costs more money. And I had to get a new battery too. That's mine.
James, did they rewrite Hansel and Gretel where it was arse prints instead of bird gum?
Arse prints in the snow.
Yeah. And they left me
Amazing.
at prints of the arse.
Yeah.
Right then, guys, if you